Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's meeting of Essex Business Forum. I'm pleased to be back and seeing all your nice smiling faces. Milestone day or week this week. Ryan reached a seminal moment of 85. Would you care to come up? And as you come up, we've got a little present for you. And as he comes up, let's get the happy birthday to you. Right.
Can somebody tell him why?
Right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brian. Happy birthday to you.
Give him the box.
Thank you all so very much.
Congratulations, Brian, and zip it. And also, he's not quite reached the heady heights of 85, but Matt had a birthday. Is that how many happy returns to you? Another sort of 20 odd years, and you'll get one of those.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
20.
Sorry, I used the term loosely. Right, that's got birthdays out of the way. Let's get on with the meeting. Could I ask the leadership team to be upstanding and introduce themselves, please?
Well, good morning, Brian. I'm Social Secretary.
Good morning, everybody. Terry. I do a membership and recruitment. I do.
Good morning, I'm Scott, mostly your meeting secretary. I'll explain why.
I'm the chairman, as you know, and I get you through the agenda, but I normally have Ben here. Ben's got hospital problems, as you all know. He's bearing it up very bravely, and so he's not here, and I'm standing in for him. Please be seated, let's get on with the meeting. And first up, as always, is the Performance League. Scott.
Quick and easy today, I'm not even holding a piece of paper. It's because the other half of the meeting secretary, my admin support, Mum, is on holiday. And I just ain't had time to do it. So there we are. I can tell you that Brian and Jane and Toby and Paul and Neil all put in loads of stuff during the week. I just haven't had time to process it all. So it will happen in this month. No points will be lost. It's all there in the spreadsheet. Just the act of getting it from that bit to that bit hasn't happened. Sorry.
Apology accepted, and you can tell he hasn't really looked at it because he called it stuff. All will be revealed next week. Thanks, Scott. Education slot is next, so standing in for Ben, I introduce the person who's going to give the ed slot this week, and it is Leo.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, everyone. Happy birthday, Brian. Happy birthday, Matt. Education slot. Okay, so that's my first ever one, so please bear with me if I do get anything wrong. So this week, I wanted to touch on something that was important to me. So it's about asking for help, which I've learned not to be afraid to do. But really for today, it's about asking the right people for the right kind of help. For example, I wouldn't go to Paul Booth if I needed my website fixed. I wouldn't go to Scott if I needed some legal advice. But I know everybody, if I went to them, would offer me help. So I wanted to put the point across in one of those stories everyone likes. So a short little story. They'll bring the moral to the story type thing. So my son's walking down the street and he's just walking along, suddenly he falls down a hole. And it's a big hole, it's a deep hole. And he goes boom, down with a thud, and he's hurt. And he's looking around, it's dark, can't see any way out, there's no way out, can't climb up the walls, he's hurt his leg. And he's looking right away up about a good 20 metres, and sees a priest walk past. Father, please, can you help me? I've fallen down the hole. No problem, my son, I'll say a prayer. What kind of help he needs? Sees a doctor walk past. Doctor, can you help me, please? I'm down the hole, I can't get out, I can't see, I can't do anything. Doctor throws him down a plaster, a bandage, and says, I hope that helps. Next thing along, a policeman walks along. Goes, officer, can you help me please? I can't get out. I can't see anywhere to go. And the officer says, I'll go and call someone. So he's stuck. And suddenly, I come along, it's Dad. Dad, help! We're stuck, I can't get out, there's no way out. So I jump all the way down, land right next to him. He says, Dad, what are you doing? Now we're both stuck in here. It's dark, there's no way out, I can't see, I can't do anything. Now we're both in this position. And I went, son, you forget my son. I've been here before. I already know the way out. But asking the right people for the right help. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Neil. Membership matters. Terry, do you have anything to tell us?
Nothing I want to reveal right now, no.
Let's see what happens next week. The business card box. I'm passing it round. You know what you've got to do, so I won't tell you again.
I've got a quick membership letter, if I may. Just to add that the guest from last week, Sophie, who came along, thoroughly enjoyed attending the meeting and has promised me that an application for membership is going to happen in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks. Also to go around is the box for the referrals, etc. Okay, right, we are on the 60-second round now. I can see that Matt won the Oscar last week because he's got a city in front of him. We haven't got a 60-second. Our 60-second man is not here. If I pass that to you.
Yeah.
Right. With that power infusion in place.
Just to add, I will give 50 seconds, one of those, and a 60 seconds.
Now he does the double bell. You might find that easier, and we might pass that on to Vincent when he comes back. Right, let's get on with the 60. Right, let's get on with the 60 seconds round. As usual, Matt will be judging the Oscar, and so he'll go first, and he'll be followed by James.
Good morning everyone, Matt Barry from Blue Seraph. I spoke to you last week about our bunting project. I am pleased to say we have been inundated with hundreds of entries. I'm not sure if I recall any from here though, but anyway. But it should be, there was one. Yes, I'm very sorry Jane, I did see your one, your lovely one. But it will be a fantastic, it will be a really fantastic display, and I do encourage you also to get involved in the art trail. It starts on the Jubilee weekend, and go and see all the fantastic creatives in Brentwood, Sheffield and Ingatestone. It'll be really, really good. On another note, we've had a really good week in the office, and we've won a pitch for Hertfordshire County Council, so we went to see them this week to kick that off. So it's a nice little branding project, so we're really pleased with that. So that's good. That's Matt from Blue Seraph.
Thanks, man. James, you're next, followed by Toby.
Morning all, James from RMK and BHK Insurance, general commercial insurance brokers, so we will have a go at selling anything to anyone. Rather than sales, I'm going to talk about the after sales today. I was in the unfortunate position, I picked up the phone to a client last Thursday that had a claim going on for 10 months and wasn't very happy about it. He'd appointed his own loss assessor, which is why we hadn't been involved before, a professional loss assessor who would completely balls things up. So we are now the following Thursday and he's getting his offer tomorrow, which is £85,000. And that's because I've spent about 9 hours on hold to various different people, but actually stuck to it, got it done for him, and I kind of know what I'm doing. So very happy client, and a lot of work to catch up on. And the bunting, you did have one, didn't you? I thought Paul knocked up a bunting last week, didn't he?
You did.
James, RMK and BHK Insurance.
Thanks, James. Toby, you're followed by the first of the mics, Mike Kingston.
Good morning, everybody. JBX, I'm Business Growth and Development Specialist. I've been talking a lot about the motivational mapping that I use, and it's very attractive to companies that like to look after their employees, like their employees to be happy and healthy and therefore productive. Really helps them to understand their employees, help their employees to understand each other, get a better team spirit. And more companies are appreciating the value of giving these sorts of benefits to their employees. And it came to my attention recently, actually, at a meeting I attended with Matt, that one company that's very proactive in that way is Bibby Financial down the road. So I'm looking for an introduction to Bibby Financial, if anybody knows anybody there. Thank you. Especially anybody in their HR department or anybody who's put me in touch with their HR department. So yeah, I'll be very grateful for that. Thank you. Toby Accent, sales master.
Thanks, Toby. Mike Hickson, followed by Mike Skinner.
Morning, everyone. Mike Hickson from LSA Systems, based in Billericay, the IT representative for the group. My core business has always been the provision of assistance or support for companies and individuals in certain instances where they're struggling with their IT services or their IT activities. So I'm always looking for referrals for businesses that need assistance with their IT, but one of the biggest stumbling blocks is always for us the incumbent IT company. We've got the customer locked into a 12-month contract and the customer says, I'd love to come to you, Mike, but I'm locked into a 12-month contract. So fairly recently we introduced an opportunity where we will buy the remaining part of the IT support contract from any company that's prepared to give us a 12-month contract. Buy from us a 12-month contract. So that's Mike from LSA Systems looking for IT support contracts.
Thanks, Mike. Before we move on to Mike Skinner, just to let you know, Scott had a message from Kieran Peachy, who's gone down with COVID. Apologies for not attending, and I'm pleased he didn't. Right, Mike, you're next, followed by Melissa.
Good morning, everyone. Right, one of the absolute staples of business video for SMEs is the business introduction or walkthrough video. These sit perfectly on the front page or head of a website, as well as being great to send out with brand marketing packages. It typically comes in three forms that I'll quickly run over. A customer journey video. This follows one fictional customer's experience using the company. Whether taking a car into a garage or having a designer come to your home, it focuses on what the customer will personally experience when using a business. Number two is a visual walkthrough. This is usually to music and some graphics. These work well for bars, restaurants, stores and businesses whose premises itself is their business card and they want to show that to drawing customers that haven't visited yet. And number three is a talking head introduction. This involves the business owner or representative speaking to camera about what the business does and what they can offer. And this is usually interspersed with relevant clips to visually highlight important areas. All three are fantastic landing page content for companies and are all relatively simple to put together, so very cost effective. If you know anyone that could benefit from any of the above, please let me know. That's Mike at Black Multimedia. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Melissa, you're next, followed by Hannah.
Good morning, all. Melissa Jackson, licensed insolvency practitioner. I assist companies and individuals in financial difficulty. I wanted to talk to you this morning about personal insolvency. So we deal with individuals as well as corporates. In the UK, there is a very generous regime of debt forgiveness. And if an individual does run into personal debt issues, there's usually a solution which will enable them to reach a compromise with their creditors, the people that they owe the money to. These normally fall into three main categories: debt management plans, individual voluntary arrangements, and bankruptcy. Each option is quite different, and we are experts in all of them. This week, I had a fantastic piece of news. We managed to tender for and win a block of business from an insolvency practitioner in Scotland that is retiring. She's getting rid of her block of business, and it means that we're having 177 new cases come to us by transfer. So, Melissa Jackson, Kenway Francis, assisting companies and individuals in financial difficulty.
Thank you, Melissa. Hannah, you're followed by Neil Bell.
Hi, Hannah O'Shea from HFO Media, helping businesses have an easier social media experience. My top 4 words I say to clients when starting up their social media platforms is show, create, build, and free. Show meaning show how you're an expert. Make sure that if you're selling a product, always show your face so that they know it's a legit company. Create, engaging your content specifically to the demographic that is seeing your platforms in your insights. Build loyalty and trust within your content. And free, don't show too much. Instagram is in the midst of doing a sort of a subscription like YouTube are doing, so it's sort of back and forth. Some people are loving it, some people are not. So if you know anyone or yourselves who need any social media help, please get in contact. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Neil, you're followed by the scones lady.
Hello everyone, Neil from An Event Catering. This week we smashed it out of the park with another Directors Fine Dining lunch down at DP World. Pictures can be found on An Event Catering's Instagram page, as we are back to being social media active. And the rest of the week, just to show off, I've been in talks with Adidas, possibly going up to St Andrews Open, 150th anniversary. Doing a full day's catering party for all the top golfers in the world. It's being hosted by Colin Wacken, the Asian guy who's number 3 in the world. And I'm looking forward to that, mega money. So, and of course, come back with all free Adidas clothes, because they can have no clothes if they want to do the event. So that's Neil in Event Catering. Happy to take on more bookings. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil. The scones lady, as written on here, I'm going to read what's in front of me. Jane.
I didn't write that because I wanted to put scones with a K.
No, that's true. Who do you blame for that?
Oh, my lips are sealed. There we go. So, it's my son's trumpet. He won't thank me for getting Bob all over it. I bought the trumpet because I'd like to blow my own trumpet today, please. We've had a very nice testimonial. It's a bit rude and un-British to read it out, but I'm going to anyway. It's from Hewlett-Packard. A big thank you to the English Cream Tea Company. We have been inundated with positive responses from the partners on the packages, stating the cakes were some of the best they had ever eaten. The cakes were packaged beautifully, and the keepsake tin is really special and something I'm sure people will keep. I personally like to thank them also for their patience and going above and beyond for Hewlett-Packard during this event. We're definitely keen to work with the English Cream Tea Company again and wish them all the best in the meantime. So that's a plan. We sent out 550 gifts to last week, and I thank you.
I'm very relieved you don't have the ability to actually Thank you, Jane. Again, consistent with reading everything that's been put in front of me, the one and only Mike, the rest aren't real.
Morning everybody, Mike Rogers from the Mortgage Store. I have prepared a really interesting 60 seconds for today. But having looked through it, I thought the only person that will actually find it interesting is Sarah Steele, and she's not here, so I'm not here. Before the meeting, the members of the Grumpy Old Gets Corner were having a chat, and it turns out that everything I was going to say is also what Will was going to say, so I'm going to save energy and not bother saying it myself. And I just thought I'd point out that that's the essence spelling of the word scones. Nobody knows how to say it or anything. So,
It didn't have bleeding in front of it there. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, mortgages and stuff, you know.
Right. Give him some referrals. Right. Sorry, I got totally distracted by that. The next one up is Nick, followed by...
Well, good morning, my name is Nick, I'm a structural engineer. I spend a lot of my time, have done for years, providing the structural design input for extensions and loft conversions and that sort of thing. A good example of that is a job I'm going to see this after the meeting this morning. It's in Billericay. It's a huge Edwardian house with a huge extension. The owners want to take, it's a big open plan family room in this extension. There's a couple of walls in there. They want to take those walls out now. So it's going to be an even bigger open space, which means the extension is going to be so weak, it's going to it needs strengthening. It needs major strengthening. Not only does the extension need to support the downward loads on it, it needs to support the lateral loads, the wind loads. And this extension is going to be like a pack of cards unless we're very careful. So I've got to enhance the joints between the beams and the columns. I've got to investigate the foundations. It's all perfectly doable, but there's a lot of time and effort involved, and the client knows that. So it's an interesting job, and one that I'm looking forward to. Snick Cook Associates, Building Solutions for Structural Problems.
Thank you, Nick. William, you're next, followed by Baldwin.
Morning guys, so William Verla, Commercial Finance and Property Specialist. What I was going to just say, as Mike alluded to, is that I got a message last night from from our team leader up the north who has 150 brokers going into him, and we were at the Belfry 3 weeks ago talking to lenders, and they were giving us, you've got to get your cases in, you've got to get your case in. And the reason why is what I said a couple of weeks ago, due to the increasing bank base rate and volatility in the financial markets, lenders are amending their product offerings at an alarming rate. Whereas a lender may have 6 months ago amended their product every few months, someone now changing within 24 hours. So good times are not on the way forward, they're gone. So it's just be careful on your finances. If you need to borrow, you've got to do it quickly because the rates are going only one way at the moment. So take care. William Runner, Baywater Commercial Finance Specialist.
Thank you, William. Paul, you're next, followed by Terry Medley.
Good morning, everyone. Paul Dudley, Redline Limited Communications Agency. I've just finished a really interesting project which I worked on with Matt and Mike, for a client. They needed a 10-minute presentation video. I said, what does it need to be about? Oh, it just needs to be 10 minutes, which wasn't very helpful. Anyway, spoke to the people that were running the event that it was going to be used at, which was an online conference. And they said, it needs to be very thought-provoking, thought leadership, not just a sales pitch. So fortunately, we got that insight and went away. I wrote it with Mike. We went and videoed the CEO doing the speaking, and then stitched it all together with the presentation story behind it. Matt and his team tidied things up, and off it went. Oh, mate. The seven videos, 10-minute videos at this conference, the feedback was, thank you very much. It was by far the most engaging, thought-provoking and interesting, and that included some multinational businesses. So we're Redline, and we do communication stuff, but it's not just products.
Blow without the trumpet. Well done, thank you very much. Terry, you're next, followed by Brian.
Yeah, good morning again, everybody. Terry from TM Law. Those of you who have listened to my various ramblings over the years, I've got 10 top tips for making sure you get paid. And the first one is the most important one, and I had an example of it this week, is make sure you know who you're dealing with. And my client is over £68,000, small business, quite a lot of money, and they gave me the invoices and said go ahead and recover the money. So I did my bit. Unfortunately, they've been dealing with, they thought they were dealing with an individual. In fact, the man's now come back, his defence is, well, no, I'm a limited company. And the limited company, guess what? It's partless. So we've got a real dispute on our hands. Who do we deal with? Can we go for the individual who's got a lovely house who I'd quite like to go and get and take away and sell? Or do we deal with a limited company who've got nothing? So please, number one of the top tips, make sure you know who you're dealing with. And anyone you know in business, please make sure they know who they're dealing with. Terry Mayman, TM Law. Thank you.
It's all about knowledge. Thanks, Terry. Brian, you're next, followed by Stuart.
Morning, everybody. Brian, therapist, built-in therapy. I'm carrying to see a man who is a compulsive gambler. He's a commercial refrigerator engineer. In the morning, he can earn as much as £500. Backstab, at 2 o'clock it's all gone because he's gone into the bookies and spent a lot. This of course affects his wife and his 3 children. His wife has given him an ultimatum, get help or get out. And so that is why we came. If he's committed, I believe that together we can get him free from this addiction, but it needs a lot of his help as well, a lot of cooperation. So I try to him therapist, appropriate therapy, help was just a phone call away, and this week I'm looking for anything you can do. I'm not proud, thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Stuart, you're next, followed by John Hammond.
My name's Stuart from LG Network. Just thought I'd tell a little brief story. You know, we provide business internet services. And sometimes, usually, that's quite straightforward. We can just get onto OpenReach or whoever and get a nice fast service. We were contacted by Decathlon, sports sportswear company. Basically, they were moving out of the store, which you also could bring in their head office, into a massive porta cabin in the car park while the main building was having a big refurbishment. We went in to do the phones. They were moving in 10 days' time. Nobody had actually ordered them an internet connection. They needed a gigabit connection and they needed it quickly. The only way we were going to get in that quickly was a wireless delivery. Unfortunately, they were in the shadow of all big surrounding buildings. The only way we could get them in was via the top of Canary Wharf, bounced off Woolwich Police Station, straight into there. We've got a gigabit service in within 10 days. Okay, so we can get any type of internet service to almost anywhere. That's Stuart at LG Networks. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Stuart. John Hammond is followed by Scott Griffiths.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John Hammond from JMH Technologies. We provide network security services to all different businesses. We're never going to be the cheapest, but if you employ the cheapest, you get money. Right? We just had a situation where we lost a project for a client. He's entitled, he went elsewhere to get his gate installed by other people. They then called us out 2 days later to say it's not working because they caught someone wandering around inside. And it's actually totally wild and incorrect. They didn't save any money because our charge for actually going out to fix it and put it all right is about £800 because of the amount of work we had to put in to absolutely refit the whole crap of an installation. And some of you have seen the pictures. It is awful. So if you want it done right, you've got to pay for it, and that's what we're here for. JMH Technology, applied technology to security.
Thank you, John. Scott.
Good morning, Scott from SEO. Just based on an interaction I've had with a new client this week, just thought I'd talk to you about a simple thing like web hosting. It's a service that probably most of you are buying, but probably don't really understand what you're getting. You can buy cheap, nasty, easy hosting for only 50 quid a year, sometimes even for free. When you do that, you're on a server with 1,000 or more other businesses. One of those gets hacked or goes slow, pulls the whole lot down, so just be careful. On the flip side, the client I'm taking over from, she said, I'm paying £270 a month for my hosting. I said, well, I charge £225 a year. What's the difference? What do you get? We work through it, absolutely no difference at all. I've got the nightly backups, I've got security provisions, I've got the high speed, all those other things. But so some people will take you for a ride, other people will put you on a server with 1,000 other crappy websites. We do it just about right. I do make a bit of money on hosting, but it's a proper professional service. Do check. I'm happy to talk through your provision, even if it's not with me. Let you know if you get value from money or not.
Thank you, Scott. Aidan Squire from TM Law. Now I'm back, I'm looking for new instructions. Let's build up gradually, shall we? This week, I'm looking for private clients. For wills, for lasting powers of attorney, and for probate work, acting for executors where there's a will, and for potential beneficiaries where there's no will. So, special effort, please. I've been away for 2 weeks. See if you can get me some clients. That's Aidan Squire from TM Law. Paul Boo is our last up.
Good morning, Paul Boo from Birmingham Chartered Certified Accountants based in Brentwood. One of the big questions over the last year has been the question on crypto trading. Is it taxable or non-taxable? And HMRC updated their manual guidance in February this year. So 99% of the case it is taxable under capital gains tax. Buying and selling of a digital asset is a capital gains tax transaction. So a lot of people are under this apprehension that it's gambling is not taxable. That's not necessarily true. There are some exceptions. It is still a massive, complicated area, but yeah, that's just something to bear in mind if anyone speaks to you about it. I'm not looking for crypto traders today. I'm just looking for someone who's looking to save accountancy fee, particularly if they've got a big London firm. That's Paul Booth from Booth & Co. Non-Taxable.
Thank you very much, Paul. Right.
So sorry, I forgot to sign in.
So we've got 21 people.
No.
Minus 25. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. I was so excited by the bacon rolls, I forgot to sign in, so sorry. Morning everyone, I'm Emma Taylor from Keller Williams, not your average estate agent. New marketing rules have come into effect this month to give buyers and renters more online information about prospective properties. From the end of this month, estate agents must comply and display the following information clearly for part A of the phase. This includes council tax band or rate, the price, meaning that there's no more POA, which stands for price on application anymore, the tenure of the property, meaning freehold or leasehold, details of any reservation fees. Shared ownership properties must include the percentage of shares for sale, as well as the rent on the share not being sold. And properties for rent should also include information about deposits and any holding deposits payable. Phase B and C are currently being developed as well, and they will also come into effect over the next few months. This is giving buyers a lot more information upfront about properties that they are looking into. That's Emma from Keller Williams, helping you move.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
Right. That's the bacon sandwich sorted out. That is the end of the 60-second round. I hand over to Matt for the award of the Oscar, please.
Thank you. I just want to point out some really great 60 seconds, but also the fact that we're just name dropping. You know, Decathlon, Adidas, HP, I mean, look at the brands that we're all working with. I mean, it's pretty cool. Very nice. But generally, some really great advice and tips from people. Hannah, I really liked your social media types advice and breaking it down. Paul on the crypto trading, but also, I mean, Brian, you know, what great support you're giving, and hopefully, you know, you're going to really see that guy through. So well done. But some really good ones in terms of overviews of what they're doing. Mike Skinner on the videos, and Melissa, you know, on what you're doing. But also, I think it also has to go to Melissa because of the big win. So great.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Matt, and well done, Melissa, and thank you very much, Paul, for your invaluable assistance on the timing. Right. Never again. Right. I don't think I've missed anything out. We move straight on. Well, Scott, give you a chance to redeem yourself. It's not looking good. He couldn't have not a good day. It's not a good day. Right. Let's move therefore to the 10 minutes. I'm standing in, of course, for Ben. And first of all, some basic information going forward. The next run of speakers for June are 2nd of June, no meeting. Good start. 9th of June, the Ed slot is Vince, and the 10 minutes is Jane. The 16th, Ed slot is Paul Booth, and 10 minutes is Scott. 23rd of June, the Ed slot is Ben, so pleased to see him back to do that. And Neil, 10 minutes. And finally, on the 30th of June, Ed slot is Jane, 10 minutes is Toby. Hope that's all settled. Ben will be further communicating with you over those, but make note of that and keep your eyes open for emails. Right, today, the bio sheet that I have, in the personal section it says choose 4 of the following, so he chose 3. JMH Technology is the business name, based in Harlow. Preferred area of coverage is anywhere outside of the A406. So think about that. Anybody who knows, otherwise ask JMH Technology. The nature of the business is electronic fire and security installers. Anyway, to the personal section, his best day out he sat at the Queen's back garden eating a picnic and then watched Magnus perform on the roof of Buckingham Palace. That was a Jubilee celebration for the Queen's last Jubilee. How I relax, a nice bottle of red wine and a good film. And the famous person he's met was Jasper Carrott and his daughter Lucy Davis before she was famous. And I have to say, to my detriment, I didn't know who Lucy Davis was, but I've been enlightened, and you all will know, of course. John, go for it.
I'm John Hammond from Next Technology, and you still know what I'm talking about, that's me. And if you don't, you go expect it, because it's written on my back. Every time you see me, you should know me. A little bit about myself. I'm happily married to Amanda, been married now 35 years, celebrated our 35th anniversary this month. And I have two lovely children, Liz, who is a school teacher, and Blake, who works with me. Some of you might have met. So that's a bit about background. How long have I been in the industry? I've been in the industry a very, very long time. I started before the first London Marathon. So if you don't know when that was, it was the same year that Prince Charles married Diana. So you can look that up, it's a long time. Seen a lot of changes in the industry. We deal with fire alarms, CCTV, intercom access control. And it's access control I want to touch on today. What do we mean by access control? It's a means of entering the building without a key. And what I mean by that is I'm not using a brick to get in. What I actually mean is by using some sort of card reader or card reader. You've got card readers like this, you'll see on people's buildings, and they use a card to get through the door. Now we install all types, from the simple keypad, where you just put your PIN code in. We put those on dimension units. I wouldn't recommend them anywhere else because they're very insecure. You can see people putting their PIN in. If you have an individual PIN, if you've got 5,000 staff, you've got 50% chance of actually getting the PIN. If you've got a site code PIN, well, everyone gets a PIN. But we use it on dementia units because it stops dementia patients wandering onto the stairs or wandering into the lift and getting stuck and not knowing what to do. And we have had that to actually put a PIN code on there. One of the residents was in there for 2 hours because they pressed the lift button and got in the lift and didn't know what to do. It wasn't until one of the staff came along, and when they replayed the video, they'd been there 2 hours. So it is a necessary item, but we don't fit it on many buildings. It is only on dimension units. So we move on to the card reader. What's the card reader? These are the simple ones, Paxton ones. Paxton card readers, you can use a fob, or you can use a card to get through the door. So there's a number of cards that you can actually connect to, like these. Now, like what Stuart's got as well. Paxton is really, really good, but the problem with Paxton, it only reads one type of card. So it will read a bank card, or it will read Paxton fob, but you can only have one type on the system, which is brilliant for most circumstances. But if you've got a multi-tenanted building, you want the tenant to use their own card. You don't have to then carry 2 cards around. So we supply the HID multi-flash reader. Now the multi-flash reader reads any type of card. It's a dumb unit. You present the card to it, it spits the number out. It's the access control system that deals with it. And what we do with that is we put it into the S2 access control. Then each tenant can have their own badge format. That way they don't carry 2 badges around the site. They use their corporate card to get through the main entrance, communal area. And if you use a corporate, you can pass it on. They use their corporate card to get into their own area or the building. That makes it dead easy for them to get in there. One of the things with proximity cards is people used to put their names on the cards. It's a good idea, great marketing. You find it outside the building, you can just break straight in and sort it out. Fantastic. A lot of the big companies used to do it all the time. Just a couple of the ones here. Deutsche Bank used to do it in London. Great, you find the card at the tube station, they've gone home, that card's now working until the next morning when they realise they haven't got their card. So what we have there is a PIN code as well as a card reader. You present your card, and then you have to put the PIN code in that matches your card. That way, it's something you have, the card, and something you know, the PIN code. Very secure means that it is used on data centers and labs and things like that. But it's one of the options of data centers. One of the other options is fingerprint. Now, fingerprint readers, you've probably seen it all on the telly, where they and you can use the fingerprint. You can't actually do that because there's a vein tree inside the actual finger. And you have to have blood flowing in the vein tree to actually do it. So it needs a fingerprint as well as a vein tree. That way, you can't cut it off. The problem is people don't realise that and still do it. It won't let you in, your blood is lost the finger. The other one is retinal scanners. You can have one of those scanners you've seen on the telly where they read the eyeball. So the same sort of thing, you can read the eyeball but you've got the vein behind it and you must see the veins flowing to actually gain access to the building. Again, very secure. We've never actually fitted none of them yet, we've been asked for it numerous times. But when you talk to the staff, they don't want their eyeball read every time they go to the building. So that hasn't been installed. Facial recognition is asked for. You've got it on your phones probably where you use your face when you're on your phone. The problem with facial recognition is how quick it reads the person's face. Put it on your phone. Might have two faces in there if you look at might have one face. So you've got to match your one face. If you've got 10,000 staff that are trying to get through a turnstile, reading the faces and making sure it's that person is a slow process. Reading the face and letting anybody in, you can read dead easy. But reading the face to make sure it's one person is hard and it takes time. It's so slow it's not used. When computers get faster and facial recognition gets better, it might be. But if you've got a big turnstile, no problem. So we haven't used that. What we're good at, we are good at interfacing other things into the access control system. We install intercom system on the pattern access control, and they can go to a, let me just take it, and then get it easy. You can have it go to an individual monitor on the system, or you can have the intercom go to Stuart's phone system, and we can hook it into the phone system. We do that at our office. When the intercom phones at our office, it rings our mobile phones, and we can open them outside of the shutter for deliveries. The building's still secure because we've got an inside boulder shutter as well. It just means that we can have deliveries and they don't need the boxes outside. For Jersey Harbours, we actually fitted SOS units in white, yellow with an SOS button to actually contact the harbour master. And that goes over their SIP server as well. For Jersey Harbours as well, we installed these smart handle sets. Where you can present a card to the reader and that's the card value, so we'll find value card or something. But you can fit them anywhere. Now for Jersey Harbours it works great because we've installed these all over the island. You don't need any wires, you don't need any networking because it's all conveyed by the card. On the card it knows where you're allowed to go. And you might think, oh that's a bit insecure. It's 256-bit encryption to read the card. It's a different 256-bit encryption to read the page in the card. And it's another 256-bit encryption to read the actual wording in the page in the card. So it's 256-bit times 256-bit times 256-bit. By the time you've read the card, which will be weeks, it's been completed. So it's a very, very secure system. Use it E4M. You can also have smart cylinders. So you can change any cylinder and you can pull out your card, twist it, and the door will unlock. And you can have any type of cylinder. So virtually any door can be changed. So again at Jersey Harbours, we're changing that for all the platforms. So all the pumping stations over the island are having smart cylinders. We took it one step further. For the marina, They had boats turning up and they had awful trouble issuing enough cards quick enough when the yachts turned up into the marina for their boarding. So we built a kiosk system where they actually pick which marina they're in, pick the number they're there for, and they pick the number of people on the boat. And the kiosk system produces the cards up, send it out in the dispenser, and they've got the right number of cards. That happens when they've paid for their mooring. So it's all tied into their payment system. As soon as the cards are spat out, they're active in 15 seconds. So by the time they walk to the toilet, the cards are working. So that's what we added to their system. And that's what we are very good at, is putting extra functionality on people's systems. Everyone, if I can get it. We actually did one, I can't pull it at the moment, did one for a lab. In this lab, they look after some really, really nasty stuff. They're working on a cure for Ebola, probably got monkeypox in there at the moment, things like that. Really nasty stuff. And they used to rely on a flip card on the outside of the lab. So if you went in, you flip the card across, say, person was in there. So they had a list of 20 people on this flip card, and as you went in, you flipped your card, said you were in the lab, and you came out and flipped it back. People forgot to do it. So what we did, we hooked it up into the access control system, so when they used their badge to get into the room, it added them to the display. They came out and badged out, it took them off the display. In that way, they knew exactly. So if one of these boils broke inside the lab, they knew if there was no one on the list, brilliant. If there was people on the list, well, we'll need to speak to Vince about providing an order of service for the food, because it is really nasty stuff in there. We get suited and booted in those big suits, and you get the oxygen mask on and all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, so that's what we do to them. It helps in their health and safety report. They haven't got to say, oh, yeah, they flipped the card across. It's actually specific, it knows exactly who's in the room, so there's no harm. So that's what we're good at, providing extra functionality to access control systems. So that's me, JMX Technology, applying technology to security. Any questions?
Nick? That clever little unit that you installed for Jersey Harbours?
Yeah.
So is it, I take it it's battery powered?
Which one? The handle sets or these?
You said it was, there was no, it was a lock. That's the one.
Yeah.
Is it battery powered?
Yeah, this version's got AAA batteries in, the big version's got AA batteries in.
Okay. Alright.
30,000 operations before the batteries go flat.
Okay. What happens if the batteries do go flat?
It starts bleeping 1,000 operations before that, so everyone has batched it to say the battery's going flat. And when the batteries go flat, you can actually plug a device in to power it up. It doesn't allow you to open the door, it powers it up, and then you present your card and you can get it. And then you just take cover up on the inside and the battery's doing standard batteries, so I don't get any. Scott?
Along the way, that's fascinating, thank you very much. Really, really interesting, especially seeing the products. Where are we in the world of domestics? I want to open my front door with that.
The Yale system is probably the best at the moment. One of the problems with Bluetooth, it's very insecure. And that's what a lot of the domestics use Bluetooth. We do a version with HID, it's got an encrypted card on your phone. And there's a lot of encryption going on the phone, so you can use your phone to get through one of these readers. And we do that for a financial company in the city.
A follow-on question really, I've always wondered the same thing, that it's so common to have key fobs for car opening, but it's never gone into the housing and sort of...
So insecure, even the rolling codes. My van got broken into years ago because they kept catching the molding code, setting it on, kept catching the molding code until they found the code that worked. It will happen. It's got
it just seems to spin around in cars for 20 years and just...
You've got to have a cycling code on the actual receiver, and it's got to be a big number. Like Scott was saying about passwords, the longer the number, the harder it is to crack. The shorter the number, the harder it is to crack, and that's called PIN codes on the system. Jersey Harbours, they used to use PIN codes, and the tramps there would work the PIN code out within 3 hours.
You talked about the facial recognition and looking at, it's only got a couple of pages still left in the thing, but more pages and all that. There's partial control work at the end.
Yeah, that works slightly differently because if you actually you stood there for a while, if he doesn't find you straight away. But it actually knows which people are going to which pens. So it's limited on how long you hold it for.
Right. And it knows that because you've got the passport.
Because you didn't ticket your passport to start off before you go to the next bit.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why you stood there so long the first time round.
Anybody else?
Another follow on from Scott's question. You mentioned Bluetooth pens. Does it not use NFC?
NFC, we do use NFC, but domestic stuff. Well, a couple of versions of ones out there, but they're still going. It's a number of digits that they transfer, and how you can capture that. Our stamp police recorded using a DAT and recorder on a reader. Because they couldn't figure out how they could be working it, so they got pull that reader with a DAT recorder, and they captured all the barcode from that reader, and then they played it back when it opened. And that was because someone they arrested, so that's how they did it.
So we got broken into many years ago. We had some amazing padlocks on our barn where all our stock was, but they didn't bother with that. They took the whole of the back of the barn off.
Why it wasn't the hinges? Just take the hinges
No,
out.
they just prized the whole lot and flattened it down to the grass. So presumably you could actually just aim for everything around the door and not this system at all?
Depending on the security of the building, depends on the type of building.
Right.
If you look at the data set, because they're on the doors, you wouldn't get the hinges are on the inside, so you can't cut the hinges. It's not just a solid piece of metal, it's ball bearings, it's cross-hatch wire, so if you try going in with a drill, you thread the drill bits. So it all depends on how strictly you want to do it.
You talked about finger recognition and things
Yeah.
like that. I must learn that for my online banking.
Yeah.
Is that more secure for like a residential setting? Could you use that online?
Fingerprint on the phone only reads the outside. And it's reasonable. Again, you can cut the finger off. So it depends what. But also, Stuart, myself, and John have problems with fingerprints because most of my fingerprints are gone now from cutting cables and stripping through cables. So you've got little nicks on them. So try and use your fingerprint all the time. And that was a big problem at the data centre that we had. That everyone else was getting apart from the maintenance staff.
You're ideally suited for committing a murder, aren't you?
that was definitely, that was smooth.
I was thinking, I think John is on a paint job.
Right, anybody else? A final question. Anybody else? No. John, thank you very much indeed. All I can say is that the one thing you have demonstrated in your excellent 10 minutes is that if we want to get some sort of security sorted out, we'll never work it out ourselves, so we'll go see. Right. Let's move it forwards. We're moving on to the referrals and testimonials round. John, if you could act as runner. Paul, if we start with you, let's get it going.
Yeah, well done, John. Thank you. Well done, Neil, as well for your slot. Excellent. Couple of thank you monies to the next members.
Excellent. Yeah, well done, Neil. Let's start John, excellent presentation. We've actually received a referral for you. We've got to start a little joint project together next week.
Thank you, John, for the presentation. Certainly a lot to absorb from there. Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant presentation. It's really good to see the different things that you can do. And well done, Neil. Good prompt. I've got a referral for Mike. We are in talks Skinner about doing a video, one of his videos that he mentioned today. So we're going to get that underway soon. Amazing, thank you.
Thanks for a great meeting, brilliant install and 10 minutes, very educational. Thank you to James for sorting out my home insurance. We are going to talk about that today. So get that done. I know you've been worried about it. Absolutely cover. Great meeting, and thank you very much for the Oscar. I should be taking that back to the office and putting up.
Great meeting, everyone. Who knew access control is so fascinating? Great education. Really enjoyed that. Stuart, thanks for the information. I'll be back to you in the next day or so to an order. That's it. Thanks again.
Yeah, well done, Neil. That's really interesting. Good exercise. Nice to have a parable, something a bit different. Thanks for that. Nice. And well done, John. I know that what you discussed today is the tip of the iceberg of what you do. I know you do lots of other stuff, fire and security and all sorts of other stuff. And he's saying that your motto is we do it right first time, and that's really important. Get it done right the first time. I know your company's got a good rep for that. So got a referral, Nick. I'm not going to put it into a referral yet, but we spoke about it. It might come to me. Somebody's got to take down extension, rebuild it. And I've got a couple of thank yous and monies I'll put in when I remember.
Good meeting. After spending a bit of time here yesterday, it could be stories from anywhere in the world about anything. So I think we should make that a regular spot. Yeah, really interesting 10 minutes. It just goes to show and worry us how easy it would be to get into my building at the moment. You were there a few weeks ago. You probably laughed as you came in. As I said, one-to-one with Neil last week was interesting, and we'll do something off the back of that. We'll catch up afterwards. And Paul, when he's finished, needs to catch up with him afterwards. But yeah, lovely. Good meeting.
Great work. So Neil, really enjoyed that. Well done, Paul, for doing the food running again at the last minute. John, that was fantastic. I'm just to do that and again next week, and it'll still be brilliant. Yeah, so much going on there. One-to-ones, I'd like to get in. I've spoken to Emma, Jackie at some point, and Matt if we can. And just ongoing work with Jane, Matt, and Neil, German. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody.
Great head start. I certainly hope that if my dad jumps in the hole after me, I should be alright, seeing as he's ex-military and specialised in rock climbing, so but you never know, he'd probably just tell me to get on and bugger off. So, excellent 10 minutes, really great, showing all the actual devices and understanding it, especially for me, more visual. All the code stuff goes over my head, but once I actually see stuff, it makes sense. Really good meeting. Thanks very much, Mike. Mike filled in pretty last minute on a job for Brentwood Cathedral last week, and they were really, really pleased. So great job, Mike. So thank you very much indeed. Great to see everyone, and enjoy your Jubilee weekend.
So I've been quick. This is a thank you for the money that I've got to, and between Paul and Matt, you can all fight it out. So.
Excellent meeting as always. Good extra. Some about that one didn't actually get to that point. And brilliant 10 minutes. Really enjoyed that. And absolutely fascinating what to do in technology. Somebody with frequently uses these days. Quickly this moves on to domestic stuff. Better just something embedded in the art. And a one-to-one yesterday with Toby in quite possibly the hottest cafe in London. Hottest as in hot rather than trendy. Absolutely horrendous. Not one-to-one, that's right. Temperature in that place was awful. And also a thank you to the money to Scott going. So, thanks everyone. Thoroughly enjoyed it. See you in 2 weeks.
Fantastic 10 minutes. Curious, as to your selection of pops, do you take the eyeball and the finger to client meetings? just for us. No. Okay. Brilliant one. Brilliant Eslot. Thank you for that. Mike, a really excellent referral that Howard gave to me for his brother's business is going to to producing some video content. Well, they've got some of these reworking and they want to offer some fresh new content, so that'd be a really cool. Thanks, really.
Your end slot scenario is much more likely to be that I'd fall in that hole and my son had come along. But it works all the same. Once again, John, excellent 10 minutes. I have got here a referral for James for my household insurance that has come through, and I'm dealing with that. for Jane for the green tea blenders kit. Not for me, for my daughter. And Paul, a couple of clients who you introduced to me ages ago. I've done a couple of bills, so thanks for the money for that. And an excellent meeting. I'm pleased to be back. Sun's shining, and I'm looking forward to getting on with catching up everything that's come up so far I've been away. Thanks for the meeting. So.
I do worry that sometime I'll be walking along the street and there'll be somebody like Scott or one of the other techie guys, and they'll just be stood there motionless, completely vacant because they've lost their phone and they can't operate without it. At the end of the year, when we have to vote for the best 60 seconds and the best 10 minutes, can somebody remind me that John's 10 minutes was the best 10 minutes I've seen for a long time? And also, the best 60 seconds, I want to vote for Stuart because I've got this indelible image on my mind of him standing on top of Canary Wharf, lobbing things towards Woolwich Police Station. Like that. I went to a synergy meeting this week, I'm sure, but it hasn't been mentioned, so perhaps I was there on the wrong day like I usually am.
Was there something else there, Mike?
I can't remember, to be honest. I don't know where I went.
It was last week.
Was it? Oh, well, there you go. And I've put in a thank you for the business for an ex-member as well. Name I've probably forgotten as well.
That's good week there, really, Mike.
Good better. Yeah, it's a sun. It's on your back. Oh, yeah, exactly. Great meeting. Lovely motion and point. Very serious point, but very emotional, and enjoyed it. Really nice. John, interesting because I don't know nothing about that, and now I've got some idea of what complication situation you have to face and have to answer for. So we will apply a good job. Great meeting, guys. See you in a couple of weeks. Cheers.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for the Ed Scott's feedback, very kind. Great 10 minutes. Looking forward to our one-to-one later on today. Sort of magic you can do, little wand. Great one-to-ones I've had recently. James, Emma, lots of others, lots more coming up. So looking forward to seeing Brian again today. Thank you very much. See you next week.
Good morning everyone, brilliant meeting as always. I have a referral to Paul for doing my VAT account for the last quarter. Not you personally, but one of your chaps. Brilliant Ed Scott Neil, first class. Your Tanzanian job. Very good indeed. And a big thank you to Scott for the work that's arisen as a result of your live chat with people who call you up to talk about stuff. Thank you.
The EBF live chat that delivers work for you.
Does for me, does it work for anyone else? And yourself, I expect.
No, just for you actually. There's occasional people who are interested in joining EBF, mostly Nick Cook Structural Engineering Services.
That's because you're hosting my website as well. Thank you, Scott.
Excellent 10 minutes, John. All good Mission Impossible stuff. Love all that sort of thing. I think we're all kids at heart. We'll have a bit of show and tell. So, yeah, really enjoyed that. Great Ed Slot Neil. Had a one-to-one with Paul yesterday. He said in a sauna in Liverpool Street. Very nice it was. We kept our clothes on. James, thanks for the help with the quote for the parish council. As I understand, you don't get anything from that, but really appreciate what you put in. We're going to actually take that up because it's half the premium we're paying already. And the parish council were so pleased with that, they elected me as chair, which I didn't really want, but there you go. Yes, I've got a referral for Sarah Steele, who's not here. Mike, I might have a referral for you. The company I met with yesterday, their graphic design creator, do everything that Matt does, obviously not nearly as well, but and they're looking for a good videographer, so I'll just check with them. Yeah, great meeting, thanks.
Yeah, great meeting, great Escort Neil, fantastic, brilliant 10 minutes. I normally just fall asleep when people talk about security, but that was really interesting. I had a one-to-one with Emma, great one-to-one, hopefully more with that, and I'll email other people and email me. Great meeting, see you.
Lovely meeting, thank you so much. Well done, Neil. What a good starting point for us. John, that was awesome. Really awesome. I'm going to have to up my game if I'm going to beat you. And Paul, thank you for feeding us. What a pain in the bottom for you first thing in the morning. So I've got one for Aidan Squire, thank you very much. Toby, you said I hadn't put in for the afternoon tea amount. I can't even remember the amount, but you said last time I hadn't put in, so I'm guessing it was that, and I forgot the reason for that. Mike Skinner, we had a one-to-one 2 weeks ago, we never put in for that, if that failed. And Ben, a one-to-one and a thank you for the business. Do I just keep that?
Yeah.
Can I pass that to the box belatedly? That's awesome, thank you very much. And to Hannah, who is my chauffeur today.
Great meeting, great education slot. I want to thank Matt for his team doing the flagship arena that we're just getting produced for that. So I obviously when the new M11 junction opens. So I'll take pictures of it when they're all up there.
John, before you sit down, the speaker's right, I shudder to think what it is.
You want the finger?
The finger of the eye.
So Toby gets the finger.
Toby.
Sorry.
I'm
paying attention.
Whatever, yes, thank you. You like red or white? Oh, he's got both. Oh, that's a man.
That just makes it easier. I've got all
Is there anything else in there worth?
I'll say that when I'm doing my own.
No, don't worry, John, that's fine.
That's then?
It's just going to go around.
Yeah. Reality check on previous referrals.
So from last week, referral reality check, just looking at selection A, C, if they've turned into anything. First is from Matt to Mike. Terry Quintin, the cathedral filming, that's all good. Second, Terry to Ben. Alan Marler needs his bills sorting. Another wine. Done.
Destroyed the house, but it's done.
Fantastic. From Matt to Neil Bellum, 3 sets of sauces, jams, and
Being delivered. Being delivered, yeah. We're making the rest of them up, putting labels on, so it's only just a case of last lot chilies to come in and make the last lot.
awesome. Last one then, from Mike Hickson to Stuart Smallcombe, 10 handset phones, NSA systems.
Yep. Right over, just finalise some details.
Terrific. Looking very nicely.
John, thanks very much for doing the running. Scott, thanks very much for that. We're drawing to the close of the meeting. Before I do, and as usual, has anybody got any announcements they wish to make? Brian.
During COVID, we had something called door duty. We had 2 people who arrived, latest 46, who told us to welcome visitors, so the visitors didn't just aimlessly walk around, but was introduced to someone who had some sort of synergy with. It's not only for visitors, but it's nice. You come in, there's someone there to say, good morning, nice to see you, shake your hand, give you a delicate kiss on the cheek, who knows, whatever's appropriate. So we're going to start it off again from next week. The 2 people are sent out the details during the week to predominantly welcome visitors and also, no visitors, to welcome members. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian. We're all
Thank you, Brian.
So when you turn up at the door, just give Brian a kiss on the cheek. Right, anybody else? Right. I was going to say, whatever you do, don't turn up next week. Because we're over here. But the week after. Right. I'll send you all on your way. It's a sunny day. We've had a great meeting. It's nice to see you all. Thanks for doing that, Paul, with the food. And I'll see you all the week after next.